All right, Shalom. First of all, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and the few sisters that's out there. Unto Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. This will be a quick show to the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai. I want your brothers to edify through the spirit. And what inspired this particular video, pretty much it's the same. Well, actually, is obviously we living in a time of prophecy, and obviously things are happening in a drastic measure, which points to the end of this thing. So got up this morning, was looking at on YouTube what's going on, and it was something I already knew, but more people, more contact creators were talking about it. And what they was talking about was the fact that Amazon was about to lay off 30,000. The numbers keep fluctuating between 14 to 30,000 corporate workers, people that uh the pencil pushers, the people that the white collar jobs. Okay, and one contact creator basically was saying, well, I didn't get to see that one. They're basically saying that's going to help cause a crash because the voter confidence is no longer there. What's happening? A lot of people are losing jobs under the disguise of, now they're not even really disguising it well. When the pandemic happened, a lot of stores, a lot of people was getting laid off because it was disguised under the guise of the pandemic, but not really, them not really knowing that it was planned to disrupt the market, the job market. Period. So since they had changed the job market, the timing was perfect. But this one is different. The job market under the first year of this man's regime was supposed to be booming. Even when people that get in the poor man, the poor people card, I like to call it the poor man card, whatever, that was supposed to be a positive, but it's slowly, for sure, has become what everybody expected to be, a complete negative. All right, you have people out there, basically the cat's out the bag. Everybody realized that the people who really benefit from that program is Edomites. Okay, they're the number one people that actually benefit from that intel, which entails us that this war that's going to come is really going to be a class war at first, and is a mixture of what we call a civil war. All right, then it's going to be a race war, because people are going to realize that the anger. I was going to do another show, but I'm just going with the spirit that the anger towards one group of people may not be the wisest decision, because the powers that be are screwing everybody. Is a great war between the rich and the poor. Sirach 13 and 14 or 15. Let me see if it's 15. 15. It says, every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. All flesh consort according to the kind, and a man will cleave to his like. Meaning, if you like certain things and this person like, of course y'all gotta get along. But ultimately, you come from the same people. We come from the same stock. All right. And what they did all these years, they have pretend people that everybody's equal. Everybody is supposed to love everybody. Love, love, love. But reality, I have a dog. Even in the dog world, certain dogs are just straight up racist. towards other dogs, different breeds. They're the same. They all dogs. They walk in 4 feet. All right. They all have the same thought, but even them, they have an issue with one another. So every beast, like the scripture says, like of his own. It says, all flesh consort according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. What fellowship with the wolf? So have the wolf with the lamb. So the sinner with the godly. So a wolf is not gonna sit back and relax with a lamb, because naturally that's his dinner for him to survive. And the lamb's not gonna feel comfortable because naturally you're gonna feel threatened, all right, knowing that he might get killed. And so a sinner, somebody that breaks the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord purposely, has nothing to do with somebody that believes in the Most High. When somebody tells, "Oh, God doesn't exist," you just leave that mother effer alone. Like, something wrong with you, my man. Yeah, you keep it moving. Why? Because there's no relationship there. There's no common ground. Scripture says what? Can two walk together, at least if we agree? So they have to have some sort of agreement. You're not gonna walk with somebody that might end up stabbing you in the back. All right, end up might harming you. Like right now, all the situation is going on, where people don't know if they're gonna get or have not. A lot of people is gonna be try to befriend other people to take full advantage of somebody's weaknesses. That's that's coming. All right, that's straight up coming. So the best way to defend yourself is to rely on the Lord. All right. It says, what agreement is there between a hyena and a dog? They eat the same thing. So there's no agreement. All right. One is going to eat and leave the other one nothing. What peace between the rich and the poor? So how can these two different classes come together? What is going to make them decide, okay, for the benefit of mankind? No. And we could clearly see what's happening, that it doesn't matter if they're the Democrats or the Republican, they give two F's about people. All right. They don't give a damn about the people at all. All they want to do is make money. That's all they care about. So the lower class, you had I have it too, Slack here. Let me get this real quick. I had made mention about something like that yesterday, and look what he said. Mike Davis. I don't know who he's probably most likely a Democrat. We should only help people who can help themselves. It's outrageous. 4 million people get food stamps. Get off your fat ghetto ass. Get a job. Stop reproducing. Change your shitty culture. Stop giving food stamps to immigrants. We don't want you here if you won't work. So here it is, a man of position who's supposed to be over people, and this is how you think of the poor. All right, and what he's talking about is the trope. If there's a mascot of some things, this is what they, the far right, the far left, whatever. This is the far right, right? This is how they think of you. So there's no peace. Okay, and then brother have put, it says Alex Jones, he's a piece of shit himself. National security alert: watch hoarders of EBT funded zombies pledge to rob Americans America starting November 1st, when SNAP benefits end because of the Democrat Party orchestrating a government shutdown. So he's supposed to be the more of the in between. Why all of a sudden he's changing his tune? Because he's a part of the same system. All right, he's a part of the same system that wants to keep people down. Because if you ever watch, because I have the Alex Jones Infowars on my television, and sometimes I catch it here and there. You get kind of tired of these fucking people. But there's a lot of guests that he has up there will tell you straight up how they feel about Negroes. All right, about you, Judites out there. They'll tell you straight up, they do not like you at all. And they just try to say, oh, the Democrats just use this and that. But every opportunity they can, they will throw mud at you. Once again, the black woman is the face of welfare. Does she get it? Yes, absolutely she does. Does she have a lot of children? Hey, absolutely she does. But what they don't try to tell you is Edomites, so-called white people, are more of the recipients than the black people. And it makes sense, right? They talk about statistics, right? They love talking about statistics this, statistics that. According to their statistics, blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, they would be the minorities, right? Meaning the less of the group. So would not the people that's the majority able to get to any program because there's more of them? So that right there, when they tell you about statistics about crime and so forth, is all, even in that sense, they lie, because the simple fact is, if you are the majority, you are the majority of same things that you put in other people. It's the same. It's perfect, right? And look, so blacks all of a sudden are the face of everything. It says the real question is why are, and this I like this one here. This is a smart individuals. Why the real question is why are 42 million Americans collecting SNAP? They can't. They keep on spitting out kids and living off the government. And I think you know what group I'm talking about. And why is my favorite? Because it's the same consistent trope. So here it is. You point out, just like Captain Kirk, who got blown away for talking about gang violence, right? But it was his own people that did it to him. It's the same people that doing the same shit. All right. So the narrative is loaded. Like the brother said, here it is, a congressman, everything is right there. But the statistics shows, once again, there's more of them that on all these other things than anybody else. All right. That be popping out children and so forth. So, hey, there's no agreement between any of them. It says, um, Sirach 13 and 19, as the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. Now, is a poor, once again, if so, let's say they say what is true. The poor is just one particular color, but we know it's not. Then that means that you Edomites have nothing to complain about because you're all rich. You all got it. Right? Y'all don't need no sort of help. You see how that works? So we know it's not true. And we know for a fact there's poor in every class of people. So the poor are the subject to the people that's in power, so that they can rob, steal, and do harm too, because they have no voice. The voiceless is gonna be without a voice. All right, I'm gonna keep bringing this out too. Proverbs, I guess it's gonna be a new thing from now on. Proverbs 22 and 22. It says, "Rob not the poor because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate." So that's a law that's not passed in this society. Why? Because the rich eat up the poor. That is the poor's. I mean, the rich food is the poor. You could do whatever you want. They have no voice. This is why the Lord is going to destroy this man, because he destroys the poor of his nation and the poor of the nation of Israel. And yeah, there's a consequences and repercussions for even destroying the poor of his people. James 2, and I'll start at 5. Hearken, my beloved brethren, have not the Most High chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, which is who? The Israelites, which are Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the heirs of the kingdom, which have promised to them that love him. But ye that despise the poor, do not the rich man oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats. And they're gonna about to judge. They're about to bring in this Revelation 13 and 16 and give the people one option to survive after all hell's gonna break loose. All right, they the ones that's bringing that judgment. And if the rich so happens to be Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, because this is his world. So with that being said, shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.